Hey guys, it's Tyler here from Rehab to Fab Designs. We are working on a piece of vinyl that we're going to use to paint a design on the antique bench turned, or antique bed turned bench. This is what it looks like after we get it taped up. I'm sorry I'm kind of far away because I've got the table here. But this is what the vinyl looks like. So I went online last night and found some just different swirl designs that I liked and kind of put them together to get the generalized shape I wanted, because I wanted it to be tall and also come across left to right, but also kind of crown shape, if that makes any sense, triangular but getting smaller on the sides. So I put a couple of designs together and came up with this. So it's on vinyl. This is the paper backing, and then the blue is the actual vinyl. And so when you cut it on your printer, all this will be blue, and you basically pick out the design so that you can leave the pieces that you're going to paint. So the next step is to tape it. So we'll put tape over it here, and that is actually what we're going to use to cover it up, and then put it on our piece, and then we'll take that off. So it's kind of a tricky process, and this is not a good piece to do. I should have done my little ones because I may say a dirty word because it's very difficult. But we lay this down. I have a big roll of the paper. I've already rolled it out and then cut it to fit this piece. And this is the hard part. So usually what we do, we'll take it and flip it. It does take two people for big pieces like this. And we'll just go ahead and start it on one end. And what I like to do, I don't know if you guys can see it this way a little bit, is I'll start with my tape first, and I'll kind of put it down. It's sticky. I'll put it down first and kind of stick it to my table here, and then I don't have it on there yet. But get the tape to stick to the table. So you want to have a little overhang with your paper tape here. That way you have a little extra room to do this. And then trying to line this up when you can't see it is hard. I do have a little overhang on the blue vinyl on both sides. This piece barely fits right here on the tape. It's about the same size as the paper. They're both like 24 inches. So trying to get it straight is going to be the biggest thing. Which way? Go this way? But this is closer here. It's not straight. Okay, I'm gonna try this, and if I have to, I'll get another piece of tape and use it to hold that down. So I'm gonna start this. I have a squeegee here that I'm using, and I'm just gonna kind of run it back and forth. I'm off to a bad start because it's crooked. And you just kind of run this across your design, and this is just kind of pressing the paper down to your vinyl. And you want to try to do it without getting air under it, which is really difficult, especially with like a bigger design like this. And my paper, if you can see, I'll hold it up in a minute, was not straight. So I missed the whole top piece of the blue up here, but it doesn't really matter because there's no design on it. If there had been, I would just take another piece of my paper and go across it up here. But like I say, there's no actual design up there, so it doesn't really matter. So I'm just using this squeegee here to kind of go over it to press it down to try to get the air out. So what we will do is take the back off of this piece. This is what it looks like. So you can see how off I was right here. So it started out straight here, and then here I ran out of paper on this blue, but there's no design up there, so it doesn't really matter. So I'm gonna cut that off actually anyways. So when we get ready, I'll show you guys, I'll do another video. But this paper, the vinyl, comes with a paper backing and then the blue vinyl on the front, and then we put the paper on top. So when you get ready, you peel the back off, and then it's sticky, so you stick it to whatever you're doing, your sign or your furniture in this case, and then you paint over the negative space here, and then you peel the blue off, and when you're done, all you're left with is this beautiful painted design. So that's how we do that. Okay, I'm back. So I'm gonna try to do a video and show you how we're gonna put this vinyl on here. This is the desk here, or I'm sorry, the bench you see behind me that my husband built out of the old antique bed. The headboard is there where we have the design, and then this was the footboard, and we've got the new planked seat in. So I did like an ombre kind of faded stripe on the sides over here, and it's really pretty, but I needed something up top. It doesn't have a lot of detail, it's very plain. So we wanted to paint a design on. We have vinyl that we use in some of our workshops and make signs and stuff. So that's what we're using. So the blue is the vinyl. The white you see now is what I put on it a few minutes ago in the other part of the video to tape it. And now what we're gonna do is peel off the backing. I'll see, hold on, I'll pick it up and I'll show you. So this right here is actually what it looks like. This is the backing. I'll show you from the other side. That's the backing right there. So this is what it looks like when you peel it off. So my goal is to peel this off and leave the blue sticky part on the piece here, on the furniture. And then once I've got that down and stuck and adhere really well, I'll peel the paper tape off the front, just leaving the blue vinyl. So you've got 3 layers. So you put it on, take the back off, then you peel the top off so that you can start painting. So I lined it up before we got started because I didn't want my butt in the camera, and it's kind of hard. So we just kind of held it up and eyeballed it, and then kind of got it where we thought it was centered in the middle of the piece, top to bottom and left to right. And then we did use a measuring tape to kind of measure here from the bottom to make sure we're the same. And then I noticed this. See the difference right here? So I'm not sure if when I did my design, if it didn't cut right here, or if I missed it when I was picking it, and I won't be able to tell until I take the tape off. And then if it didn't cut it, I'll just do another one and have to try to line it up, but I'm hoping it's under there when I take it off. Okay, so y'all bear with me. This is gonna be kind of hard to do, for one, without putting our butts in the camera, and also it'd be a lot easier if we laid this down flat. But this is a really big design. It's like 3 feet across, 3 feet long. So we've got to, with a smaller piece of vinyl, it's much easier. You can just peel the back off and set the whole thing down. With this, we're gonna try to do half at a time, and the hard part's gonna be trying to keep it straight and not moving your design while you do that, because if you do and then it ends up crooked and you paint it, it's gonna look terrible. So y'all just bear with us, and hopefully it'll turn out all right. So we've got it taped up right here, just using our 3M tape. And then, which side do you want them? So yeah, go and hold here. So I'm gonna let my husband here hold this as best he can. I could cut this if you want now so we can tape it. It'll probably be easier. Let me do that first. I'm gonna cut this. Okay, so I just cut some of this excess vinyl off the top up here, so it's a little smaller. That way, 1, I can see what I'm doing, and 2, tape it, because I'm gonna have to do this half a sheet at a time when I start peeling it to try to put it on. So I'm going to use my squeegee that I showed you guys earlier when I was taping it to try to push it down. And then probably go with a pick or 2 in case my design starts sticking. And when you do these, you want to make sure where you're putting it, it's nice and smooth. So we did sand it down first just to make sure. So my goal when I do this, I know it's hard to see because I'm far away, but my goal is to peel these top 2 layers off. So I'm taking the paper tape and then the blue vinyl itself, and then I'm going to remove the backing. And then I'm going to tear it, and I'll use my my little picker here to pick up the vinyl that wants to stick to the back. When you put the tape, the paper tape on top, you use the squeegee to kind of press it down to make sure it sticks, obviously. And so when you peel the back off, You want the blue vinyl to come with you and stay with the blue and not stick to the paper backing, because I'm about to peel the backing off, and it's kind of confusing at first, but once you get the hang of it, it'll make a lot more sense. And this again is easier with two people if you have somebody to kind of hold this. And I'm just using my little pick here to kind of pick up the pieces of the vinyl that's wanting to stick to the backing. And then just kind of help it lift up. And then we'll probably go right about halfway in the design. And then I'll either cut with some scissors or tear the paper back off here. I have found that sometimes when you tear it, it doesn't tear smoothly. And when that happens, it can mess up and stick, make your design stick to the paper and get you kind of in a mess. So I usually use scissors to make sure I have a nice clean line. So as you can see, we're kind of peeling the top two layers back, one being the vinyl, the other being the paper. And then this all right here is my backing. And I'm going to grab my scissors and cut that. And just kind of cut straight down and not cut my blue vinyl. And that's why I do that, because I get a nice clean line so it doesn't stick when I lay it back down. So, once you have the backing off, you will start kind of laying your design on your piece. I'm trying not to have my butt in the way so you don't just see that. And so I'm going to use my squeegee here and just kind of push the design down onto my furniture or your sign if you're making a sign. And this is the part when you want to make sure you don't have any air bubbles, because if you have air bubbles up under it, when you start painting, it can kind of get up under there. But similar to the stripes, when I paint them, I will put a base coat over top of this, and that will help keep it from bleeding. This is, what is this one, Antique Villa? This, the white on here is, all this white you see is Antique Villa, so I will use it once I take the paper off to paint all over this design, and it just kind of seals it down. And then once that's dry, then I can paint it whatever color I'm wanting to do. So we're just going to kind of take the tape off here. Excuse me, and then we'll peel the backing off here and hopefully get it to lay down flat. So just kind of getting it started, and then I'll pass that to my hubby here and let him start kind of peeling the blue. And then I'm putting tension on the backing, on the white. And move it back around a little bit. So putting tension here on the paper backing, and then he's going to pull the vinyl and the paper. And then once we get to kind of the middle there where we stopped a minute ago, this will come loose because the paper is no longer attached over there on the other side. And so I'll just slide this out, and then we'll lay the blue back down. So we want all the blue triangle. Can you see it right there? So just using the squeegee here to kind of press back down over that piece of the design because it was a cutout piece, and so the whole thing stayed on the back here. So that got it, and it picked up right there. Almost there. It's kind of tedious work, similar to the transfers, but so worth it. Because otherwise we have this bench, and it's beautiful. It's very plain. The whole back of it would be solid white. So that's my piece there that we just took off. So we'll just toss that aside. And then using the squeegee again, pressing that design down. You can kind of see and hear when you have bubbles in it. They're really hard to get out. You can squeegee and squeegee and squeegee, and it's kind of hard to get out. And I have found that the more like cuts you have in your design, the more likely you are to get air bubbles in it. Like right there's one. So when you take the paper off, you just try to kind of push the air out as much as you can into like the negative space. So now the blue vinyl is stuck to the headboard here, and I'm going to peel the paper off. Now at this point, we want the blue, if it starts lifting up, to lay back down on the piece. Roll it and twist it as you go. Just be careful, don't pull too hard, too fast. It does take some elbow grease. I won't say elbow grease, that makes me think of scrubbing, but you do have to use your muscles, your arm muscles. This on there pretty good. Don't get too carried away when you pull it, because it can take off some of the smaller pieces of the design and take it with it. You just want to be sure you don't pull the blue and tear it. Right now we're just taking the paper. Oh good, I didn't pick it. Look. So this is the part I was worried about right here where I didn't see the design cut in, and it is actually in there. I just missed it when I was picking the design itself. Pretty, and I'll kind of do a close-up and show you what I was talking about the design. But that's what it's looking like. This is what it looks like. So the blue being the vinyl, and then the white you see is actually my paint, the background color. And this, if you can see right here, is the design. And I just missed it when I picked it, so I'm going to show you how to pick it out. So I just have like a little picker here. get these from Harbor Freight. And I'm just gonna gouge my furniture now. If it was still on the backing, I wouldn't worry about it so much because it would just be the paper, but I don't want to gouge my bed here, the wood. And it is stuck on now. So it's cut, if you can see, it's like a printer, but it cuts the design. And then you just peel it out. So there's that. And then we'll start getting ready to paint it. Hey guys, this is Tyler here from Rehab to Fab Designs. Y'all have to forgive me. I'm talking to two devices at one time. I'm trying to do a tutorial for this, and I also wanted to go live here on Facebook. I am working on this antique bed that we converted into a bench. And I did a video, I guess a week or so ago for you guys, where I was painting stripes on the side using Antique Villa and also Gustavian, both by Wiseau, in kind of a faded blend. I've done something similar on a triple dresser that I worked on a couple of months ago, and it turned out really pretty, and I just kind of wanted to try it again and do it on this piece as well. So I'm going to turn it. I've been working on a couple of videos showing you kind of how I do the vinyl. That way I can show you guys that. And like I said, I'm working on two devices here, so y'all kind of bear with me. I'm trying to record on my phone so I can post for the tutorial, and then also wanted to jump on here and go live. So this is the back of the bed here. It's painted in Wiseau paint, chalk paint, Antique Villa, and then this is vinyl. So we use vinyl here at the shop to make signs and do different projects, and that's why we ended up getting our cutter, our machine, our printer. And then one day I decided, you know what, I'm going to use it to try and make some design on furniture, because why not, right, if I have the machine. So I've done it a couple of times, and we've been working on this bench, and the sides are really pretty. I've got the stripes on, and it's looking really good, but the back is very plain. There's no carvings or details or anything on it, and I've got some redesign with Prima material and some molds, and I was going to use those and put them on it, but if we, you know, sell this, it'll probably end up shipping out of state, and I just wanted to make sure that it holds up well. And so I changed my mind on doing that and decided I was just going to paint a design on. So this is a design that I made up last night. I went on Google and was looking for some swirls, I think is what I Googled, to get like some swirly line SVGs, and I got this, and then I found some other ones and added to the side. And I wanted the shape to kind of come across and be smaller in height here and just kind of get bigger as it went across, because that's kind of the way the headboard is shaped. And so I put that together, and then I cut it, and we just put it on. And like I said, I did record and do a video for that, and I'll post that for you guys later. It's kind of hard to do on a live video because you have your butt in the camera a lot, and nobody wants to see that. So I'm going to paint this on. So similar to when I did stripes and showed you guys, I'm going to do a base coat over top of this with my base coat color, and it's going to seal it in and keep it from bleeding. So this is Wiseau Chalk Synthesis paint. We are a retailer. If you guys want to try it out, just let us know. We'd be happy to send you some. It's fantastic paint, great for blending. And then the brush I'm using is a Klingon. We're a retailer for those also. This is a S30, also known as a shorty. It's a shorter handle. So I have got my vinyl on here and pressed it down with a squeegee just to make sure it's nice and flat. And some people will go ahead and just paint right over top of this, and you can, but it's more likely to bleed if you do, just like when we're doing stripes. It can kind of get up under it, and so what I have found to be a great trick is to paint your base coat over it. So I'm just going to paint right on top of this with the Antique Villa, and it's going to seal it so that if anything does bleed, it's always going to be that first coat, right, that's going to go up under here, under my sticker. So if I paint it on with my Gustavian or whatever color you wanted to use first, and it's going to go right up under the edges of that sticker and bleed. So by doing this first, I'm going to seal it and make sure that whatever bleeds is going to be the same color as my background color, which is the white. So I'm going to put a quick coat on this, and hopefully one side will be dry by the time I get to the other side, and then I'll start with my color. And I was trying to decide if I wanted to do a blend on the design. So on the sides, a week or two ago, probably 2 weeks, it's been a while because of Christmas and holidays and whatnot, I painted stripes on the side using Gustavian, but I kind of faded it so that the stripes were darker on the bottom and got lighter as they moved up towards the top. And so I was trying to decide now if I want to do that kind of faded blend on this as well, or if I just want to paint it. If you guys have any questions, also drop them in the comments, and I'll come back and look later. I can't see them right now. I got a tablet and a phone propped up here, so I don't have it where the comments are showing up. So just let me know, and I'll be glad to answer. Just getting this on. So when we do the vinyl, it comes in, when we put it on, it's 3 layers. You have a backing on it, like a paper backing that comes on the vinyl itself. And then the blue that you see here is the vinyl. And then we put tape over it to kind of hold it down, especially with the bigger pieces. And then once we get it lined up and straight where we want it, we take the paper backing off. And it sticks, the blue vinyl here will stick to your piece, whether you're making a sign or putting it on furniture, or I guess mugs and cups if you do those too. And then once you get it where you want it, you peel the paper off, and then you're left with this blue vinyl that you see here. And then you start painting. When you're done painting, you peel that off, and then you have a design. So it's really pretty, a really easy way to kind of add some adornment and dress up your piece on an otherwise pretty simple piece. So that's that. It's on. It'll take a minute to dry, and then I'll put the Gustavian on it. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Again, this is Gustavian, and I'm going to start painting my design. Susie, I'm on 2 devices. Can you believe that? That's crazy, isn't it? Especially for people who hate to be on live videos. I'm live on Facebook with a tablet, and then I have my phone recording, so I'll have it for a tutorial for people. I was working on doing a video showing you guys how to do the vinyl separate from this, but I didn't want to go live on it because it's kind of unpredictable, kind of hard to do. I did a video showing how to tape it and stuff. So this is pretty much it. I'll just put this on, and then what do you guys think? Susie, what do you think about blending on here? I was saying the stripes I painted on the sides, I painted with the Gustavian, and then I blended some of the Antique Villa as I went up, so it got a little lighter as I went up to the top. So I was trying to decide if I wanted to do that as well or just kind of do it solid. This has got a new solid wood planked seat that my hubby built. I thought about putting just like some plywood down, and I'm just feeling this, you guys, to see if it's dry before I go over it. I was going to put a cushion down, or plywood, and make a cushion and cover it with fabric, but then I decided I would just do a seat instead, and we'll throw some pillows on it. That way, you know, trends change, and if I do a fabric that's not trending anymore in a year or two, then it won't be as cute. But if you have wood, it'll always be in style, and you can change out your throw pillows to whatever you want to change it up. So that's what I did. So I'm not really pushing this paint in a whole lot. I'm just kind of lightly going over it. It shouldn't, fingers crossed, I'm on live camera, so who knows, but it shouldn't bleed because I put that base coat of the Antique Villa down first. As long as it's dry, it should be okay. I'm kind of testing it since I'm on here live, and watching paint dry is not fun, so we'll see, but hopefully it'll come out clean. I am planning on distressing this piece as well after I finish painting it, just because I think it'll add a little character to it with it being such an old piece. So I'm going to distress it a little bit with a sander, and then I'm also planning on glazing it, I think, with the walnut glaze. Blending on the stencil. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out if I want to do that or not. That's what I did on the side on the stripes. I went from a darker brown to a lighter brown with the Gustavian as I went up. So I'm trying to decide if I want to do that on here as well, or just leave it. I was just trying to do a quick little live video, so we'll see. I really love this color though, so it looks good blended or as is. If you do glaze, guys, when you do, if you want to try glazing, I'm going to try to do a tutorial on it, but if you do want to glaze, so chalk paint, if you've never used it, as it sounds, is very porous. Just it's a very dry, porous material. And so when you glaze, I will tell you a secret. Look, I'm dipping in my can again because I ran out on my plate. But always seal your piece first. Now, if you're using like the Wise Owl 1 hour enamel, you don't need to do that. But if you are glazing over chalk paint, you always want to seal your piece first before you put your glaze on. Reason being, chalk paint is very porous. So if you start going over this dry chalk paint with the glaze, it's going to grab the glaze, and it's basically going to like soak it up really fast, and it's going to be hard to get off. So when you glaze things, you want your glaze, the idea is for it to sit in the recesses or the low spots or the details, whatever you want to call it, because it really makes them pop. It really makes your details really accentuated. So that's where you want it to sit. And yes, you can have your glaze, you know, kind of sitting everywhere, and let it kind of change the whole color overall, and it will. It'll kind of add a little bit a little bit more to it. But if you don't seal your piece first, that porous nature of the chalk paint, like I said, will grab the glaze. And so if you start trying to wipe it back later, it's going to end up very streaky looking. And you can use baby wipes. We use baby wipes when we're wiping back glaze. They work very well. It's kind of scary how well they work to remove paint and stain and stuff, but we'll use those to wipe the glaze back. So when you're doing your glaze, you basically want it to sit in your detailed areas and kind of in your lines, your transition from one piece to another where you have high and low spots. And you don't really want a whole lot everywhere else. So by sealing it first, it allows you to wipe it back better and just gives you a lot more control so that you can wipe it back and have a nice smooth look with your glaze, as opposed to it being really splotchy, blotchy looking over your chalk paint. So that's your tip for the day. I'm itching to add some white up here to this. I need another brush. And my spray bottle. It's still a little bit wet. Let's see if I can find it.
Let's go ahead and save this real quick. And then we'll just run a test where we just run the car into it, and then we'll do another test where we try to activate the buttons. Alright, here we go. It just passes right by.
Remember I said I wasn't going to dip my brush.
I know what needs that. Wait a minute. That just got dawned on me. This picture doesn't detect.
So this is a spray bottle here. It's just got some water in it.
What's keeping us from just feeding the car through it? What's keeping us from doing actually this? So if we just park the car here.
So that's just kind of reactivating my paint there to get it wet. Keep it wet, rather. So I'll just add a little bit. This is the Antique Villa. And I'll just add a little bit of that to the top. And kind of bring it down.
So if we just park the car here, let's go ahead and launch some missiles at it. 3, 2, 1. Oh, okay, that's a pretty good shot. Let's go a couple more rounds. We gotta detonate the bomb. Oh, we got it.
I'll blend that in a little bit so it'll get a little bit lighter.
So it's dead. Okay. I was kind of expecting it to fully blow apart. By the way, what happens when we
And if you do that, you want it to kind of be the same on both sides. Your height where it starts getting kind of lighter.
get some stuff gets a little too close? Alright, well that's actually pretty cool. I mean,
So obviously we'll want it to be a little lighter up top also. Tilt that a little bit.
if you guys have any suggestions for armor, how would you guys make armor and still let the person be mobile? That's my big challenge.
If you have never used Wise Owl paint to blend, I think you will be pleasantly surprised with it. Makes it look easy. Once you get used to it. Look, I already made a mess right there. So I'm just using, this is the Cling On brush that I was already using for the Antique Villa for my base coat. And then I'm just kind of dragging it down into the Gustavian.
That's the thing right now. So the alien's laser can't penetrate to tell the place.
And then I'll probably spray a little on the bottom. And then I'll come back up with the Gustavian here.
I think it needs to have a detector sensor on it. I don't normally like to activate or I don't really like to play with people.
This is where I say I get messy because I end up putting it over here where the blue tape ends.
Because it's got a life sensor on it. And I feel like it needs a detector. That way it just destroys everything.
I will tell you, if you're using vinyl, like when you get to your second coat, it starts kind of getting, oh, I got a fly. It starts getting thick where it's covered in the recesses. So it gets harder to kind of see where your design is. Because it's all kind of the same thickness there. I really need one more brush. I like to go over it after I start working it with a kind of dry brush to just really soften the lines. where it transitions kind of from one color to another.
Maybe we should mount another laser print. I want to see what it does. Here, let's try that again. Maybe I'm gonna mount it just right in the front. So yeah, I just needed a.
Okay, wait to peel this off. I think I'm gonna have to do. I think I'm gonna cut 2 more pieces of design to put. I was looking at it when I first put it up here. Probably this same piece here. I'm thinking about. We'll see. After I take this off, if I still think so, but I'm thinking about putting a piece right here to kind of follow the curve here on the headboard. So there's that. That's the second coat of the Gustavian on the bottom. So that's it. I'm gonna let it dry. I'm gonna grab another brush. This is my lucky day, y'all. I have another brush right here. Look how silly. This is a 045. It's an oval, so much thicker, has a longer handle. But this one's dry too, so bonus. I like to use them when they're dry to kind of blend it to kind of soften that line. And then I'll get a paper towel so I can kind of wipe it off as I go. So I'll kind of do vertical and horizontal strokes here, just to kind of soften that line again between the where the Gustavian starts and the antique video ends. And it's kind of crazy because when you put it over this, when you're doing like over the vinyl, it's hard to see. Or tape, if you're doing stripes, it's kind of hard to see because you can see the blue under it, and you'll look at it and it looks like it's not blended really well. But I promise you, when you peel it, it will be very soft. And by that I mean just like the lines will be nice and soft and no hard lines between the transitions and the colors. So there's that. I think I'm gonna have to let it dry again, and then I'll come back and do another one. I don't know if I'll keep you guys on here that long because it's gonna get kind of boring. But that's it. So again, Gustavian, which is my brown color, the darker color here, and then Antique Villa is my white. And so I'm just going to kind of let this dry again, and then I'll come back and do the second coat, and I'll just record that on the phone for the tutorial that I post for you guys later. It'll probably take 3 days because it takes forever to load videos to YouTube. So I hope y'all appreciate it when I do them, because they do take forever. But I'll do that. I'll do a second coat, and then I'll post some pictures later. Thanks for watching. Okay guys, I'm back. I was just going to peel my stencil off and show you guys what it's looking like. This is the stencil that I just painted. I guess it's been about an hour, maybe. I don't know. I took my new puppy out. So I went back into the second coat of the blending here. We're using, again, Wiesel Chalk Synthesis paint. The light brown tan taupe color you see is a color called Gustavian. That's been discontinued. And then the white is Antique Villa. So for the stencil part, I put the dark color, the Gustavian, down here at the bottom, and just kind of went, the first coat I just went all the way up, and then I kind of decided I wanted to blend it to match the sides. So I started up here with the Antique Villa, started working it down using 2 brushes. 3 brushes and 2 types. I've got 2 S30 shorties, one for the Gustavian and one for the Antique Villa. And then the other brush I used is a Klingon. Also, it's a 045, a oval. And that's what I just kind of used to blend the 2 colors there in the middle. And it's still a little bit damp, so I got to be careful so I don't drop paint everywhere because I'm messy. So that's what I got so far. Looking really good. I got a touch up there where I kind of made a mess. That's what it's looking like. Turned out really pretty.